Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Right now, what I'm going to do is say good morning to everyone. I'm going to let the music play for a little while. We're going to start this day off right. Right now, what we have, we're going to hit some current events that's going on in the world. We're going to start the day off with a good vibration. Also, I am going to have a guest on the podcast at 11 a.m. Central Time. My friend from Colombia, who's actually in Colombia, Gino. He is an attorney and professional tour guide, and I am here to start your day off right. So if you're starting your day off with me, I really appreciate it. Back to the music. Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you. Thank you. If you're here with me today, I really appreciate it. What we have today is we're going to cover some current events. We're going to talk about what's going on in the States. At 11 a.m. Central Time, I will have a guest on the podcast, my friend Gino. So stay tuned. And if you're starting your day off with me, I really appreciate it. We're going to play some tunes and then we're going to get to it in a few minutes. Good morning. Let's start the day off right. And we're going to start the day off right. I'm just going to play a little bit of music for a few minutes and we are going to start the day off right. Listen, it's nothing more important than starting the day off in a good mood. So, no matter what you're going through, I want to let you know that it's going to be okay. And I have my cash app up there, Elaine Kim 29. Listen, if you feel friendly, I would appreciate it. You know, $1 here, $2 there goes a long way to support the podcast. And we're going to start the day off right. You know, one thing I would like to say is that you have to really be careful with your energy. So start the day off right. Thank you. Good morning. We're going to start soon. Back to the music a little bit. Just going to let a few more people pile up into the room, and I appreciate it. Okay. Everyone, good morning. I hope that you're doing well. Today is June 17th, and what I would like to get into today is I would like to one say good morning to everyone. I hope that you're having a good day today. Okay. I hope that you're having a good day today. Um, my name is Brian. The channel name is Official TMP Waves Media, and what that really simply stands for is to send positive energy out everywhere, you know? And so I would like to thank you for joining. We're going to talk about some world events. Currently, we have a lot of things going on in the world. And what I want to do is I am going to share my screen and we are going to one address some of the problems that's going on and then we're going to bring about some solutions. So let's get to it.
Been living in my car. Now I'm living in a storage unit. I'm trying to get an apartment, but can't right now. I'm at the storage unit finna get me a storage today. I'm feeling mighty proud of myself today, you know. Yeah, you can see the building right here. I ain't gonna really show everything, but yeah. I'm looking for the smallest storage unit. How much is the smallest? Just got the storage unit. I can put my dog have a bedroom, but I thought I could put my bed right here or whatever. Man,
Now, the title says Americans are giving up and living in storage units because cost of living. Okay, guys, let's go to the comments. It says, so many people realizing this not the greatest country. Wow. 24 people liked it. The next comment. People need to be careful with posting this because I don't know if this is legal and I want them to be safe. The next person. This breaks my heart. It is hard out here. Okay, guys. Why am I showing you this? Because I want us to live in reality. We have to address the problem. So many people are struggling right now, and we have to find solutions. But if we aren't able to admit that we're struggling, then we won't ever come to the solution. What are the major issues that we're struggling with right now? We're struggling with issues economically, educationally, socially, and a lot of people are feeling very stressed right now. Okay, a lot of people are feeling stressed right now, and so the reason for this podcast is to address some of the issues that we're going through. If we're unable to address some of the issues that we're going through, then we can't move on. So I'm a realist, but I'm also a dreamer. I believe that we can make the world a better place. Okay.
got all my stuff in. Gotta get some. I let this up when I get hot.
I'm homeless by choice because I got tired of spending all my money on rent and I need to save some money. If you're
Homeless by choice. Listen, if you're in the room or if you come to the stream, please hit a like. The like is free to hit. It really helps with the algorithm. I would really appreciate it. And right now, we need this type of information to be shared rapidly. Why? Because people are struggling, and I don't know if you realize that. So this type of stream could really help. Excuse me. When we want to share something that's non-constructive, it's not a problem. If it's a video about us acting a fool, us fighting, us being harmful to each other, oh, that gets millions of views. If it's a video of a beautiful woman dancing, oh, that gets millions of views. But when people try to point out the reality of what's going on, somehow that doesn't get as many shares or likes. So what I would like for you to do is hit the like button, drop a comment, show some love to the channel. Why? Because this is a movement. This is a movement. This is a truth movement. Okay? And we will overcome the struggles that we're going through. And I'm starting this stream so that we can wake up and we can have a purpose. So that when you wake up and you feel anxiety or you feel stress or you may be going through something in your life and you are wondering how are you going to get from point A to point B, the first thing I want you to do is to breathe, okay? You're not the only one going through it. Secondly, what I want you to do is to realize that first you have to get to a quiet place where you can think, where you can shape your thoughts. A lot of times we can't solve the problems that we're going through because it's so noisy on the inside of our mind. We have stress, anxiety, we are overstimulated, and as a result, we are unable to have the time that it takes to think through the problems. So, first, I want you to understand that whatever you're going through, whether it's a financial problem, whether it's a trade, a degree, a new job, whether you already have those things and it's something that's not related to financial problems. I want you to know that it's a solution to the problem. It's a solution to the problem. Now, yes, people are giving up and people are one paycheck away. This comment from a veteran, 51, says, I am one payday away from this. Holla if you hear me. Holla if you hear me. Okay? Holler if you hear me. This person says they're one paycheck away from being homeless, man. This comment says, I am one payday away from being homeless. Let's go back to the video. And if you're just tuning in, hit a like. It's free. I would appreciate it. Thank you.
New here. I keep most of my stuff at this storage unit, but I also have an office where I have access to Wi Fi, a refrigerator, and pretty much everything else I need 24/7. I have two jobs and I also sleep at work, so that definitely helps. Keep in mind, the office and work are two different places. Now, I am really active in my comments, and I noticed that a lot of moms were saying if they didn't have kids, they would be doing the same thing. And I definitely
Wait, guys. If they didn't have kids, they would be doing the same thing. Living in storage units. It's hard out here, guys. And we're going to talk about some solutions. First, we're going to talk about the problems. We're going to talk about the problems because if we don't address the problem, then we can't get to the solution. I've always been a big advocate for mental health, but we can't even begin to address our mental health issues or the problems that's in our communities if we're struggling to get our basic needs met. But as you see on this stream, we're going to start this day off right. We're going to become motivated. We are motivated, but we're going to help others understand that we're in this together.
understand. For years, I just felt like it had to be a better way. I did not want to work, go home, take care of the kids, barely sleep, and still have to pay all these bills. My kids are older, so it worked out to where I was finally able to put myself in a situation. So, although I sleep at work, I rented this office because I just don't want to be in one spot all day. We have offices starting at $300, so it's nowhere near as much as I would be paying for rent. Whenever I do come here, I have 24-hour access. I can use the bathroom. We have a microwave, refrigerator, Wi Fi, and everything else I need.
Hey, Yeah.
Okay, because we can't have it closed like that. It has to be open, wide open at all times.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Everything okay?
Everything good?
Okay, yeah. If you don't mind opening it, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
You too.
Man, I had to bring him here. I ain't want to do it, but I mean, he chilling, man. This we got.
If this doesn't break your heart, if this doesn't break your heart, him and his son are sleeping in the storage unit and they almost got caught or caught. You know, I'm from the South, so we speak with our own dialect. They almost was caught sleeping in the storage unit, you guys. And we living in a first world country. But I believe that we're going to overcome the struggles that we're going through. So if you have a roof over your head, if you have clean water, if you have food and shelter, your most basic needs met, things might not be perfect, but you're doing better than you think you're doing. Because there's people right now that would love to be in your position.
For the night. We in the unit. You know what I'm saying? Shelter, he be tripping, man. His behavior, he on bunch of weird people there. He don't really like it. But here, he got his own world. He got a TV, he got a bed. He chilling. So he got a moat. You know what I'm saying? We gonna thug it out. We gonna slide out in the morning, do what we do. Ain't that right, boy? We gonna do what we do, ain't it? Huh?
So life update. I'm living in my car. My little S10. This is me. It's my home for the
Look how
foreseeable.
young this person is. This is a kid.
Yeah, I don't know what to do, and I don't really have anyone. I toured 2 apartments yesterday. I won't qualify for them because you have to make 2.5 times the over $1,200 rent a month, and I don't even make the rent a month. I've been homeless before. But you know what? This is a really good story. Like, I can only go. I mean, I could go down. But like, I'm gonna go up from here, cause then, like, I'm broke and homeless at 21. But like, that makes for such a good story. When I'm like super successful and rich, and like doing so well, and have so many people.
Guys, guys, guys. Did y'all see that? Guys, this is a first world country that we're living in. And this person, people, 21 years old, a young child the age of, look like about 4 or 5 years old, and the father. The older guy, struggling, living in storage units. People are struggling. People are struggling, you guys. And I just want to bring attention to this because when I drive trucks, because I do drive trucks, and I go city to city, I see a lot of homelessness. I've seen most of the United States, and there's a lot of people struggling. So if someone tells you that, oh, everyone is doing well, people, nah, no, it's things that you won't even, if you just live in your small town or a section of the city and you don't explore the greater United States, you don't even realize how bad things are. But what can we do? Okay, that's the problem. Let's go back to the video.
I'm gonna have such a bomb starter story. It's gonna be great.
So if you're just tuning in, what are we talking? We're talking right now about economics, education, entertainment, labor law, and we're talking about human conflicts and what's going on in the world right now. And the reason that I titled this is Good Morning, Wake Up Every Day with a Purpose is because we have to stay motivated out here. A lot of times, guys, we wake up almost in zombie mode, not even realizing what's going on and how we're going to get from point A to point B. But you have to wake up with a purpose. And a lot of times when we're going through things, We are so overwhelmed with emotions that we're unable to think clearly. And I don't mind looking at the ugliness in the world because I've been on hard times and I've always been blessed not to hit rock bottom. But at the same time, I know what it's like to feel like giving up. And I also know what it's like to have to push through that. Now, let's get to some of these comments. Makes sense to me, sadly. I feel sad for them. The struggle is real for them. Not like here in South Africa, we also have our struggles, but not like this. Man, somebody in South Africa is saying that the people in America are struggling worse than them. Somebody else say, and I wanted to come to stay in USA. Somebody say, what is qualified for apartment? I don't get it. Somebody come in and responded, gotta have good credit and make 3 times the rent for an apartment. Around 6 grand a month need to qualify.
It's gonna be like I was broken homeless at 21, and look where I am now. Boom, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be like, wow, go you. I just gotta make it through this part. But this part like builds resilience, character, all that shit. I'm gonna be so funny after this. I'm gonna be have such a good personality. I'm gonna be equipped with so many skills. I'm gonna be so smart, crafty, nifty, and cool and funny. And it's gonna be so good. I just gotta make it through this part.
You're gonna make it through this part, baby girl. Listen, a lot of times I get it. I see people come into the stream, they see this, they keep scrolling. It doesn't bother me because you're going to spread the truth. This stuff is ugly to look at. I get it. Who wants to look at the reality
Right.
of
Like
what we
honestly,
vote
I
for?
can't
This is
believe
what
I'm
we're
like
voting
here.
for. We voted for all of this,
I'm broke.
and it
I have
doesn't
two
matter if
kids,
you
and I
vote
live
for
in
the
a small
left
little
or the
vehicle.
right.
Today, we were
The
finally
the
able to
poor
get the front
people
seat
are
out.
still
One of my
struggling.
coworkers at Jack in the Box ended up taking it out for me, and I'm so thankful because I could not do it on my own. And of course, I wanted to record for you guys the whole process of taking a whole seat out, but I was embarrassed to ask him if I could record him, and I also don't want anybody from work knowing that I do TikTok. Anyways, after taking the seat out of the vehicle, I cannot believe how spacious it looks. I know a Fiat is a very small vehicle, but it literally feels like a small RV. And taking out the seat just made my life way easier. I don't have to be hopping or jumping to the front seat to get things. I love it. I think I'm gonna get like small little cabinets from Walmart so I can organize my clothes. Somebody asked me where I park, and I
If you're just coming to the stream, right now we're talking about why Americans are giving up. And on this video, Americans are giving up and living in storage units because of the cost of living. We're reading through the comments. We're talking about what's really going on out here. Okay? This is what the news is not going to give you most of the time, and I'm not saying that to be derogatory. I'm telling you this because um this is the society that we're living in, and we have to find a way to address these problems or our society is going to collapse. People will not be able to have families. People are not wanting to have children. They're thinking, what type of world am I going to bring a child into if this is how people are living? And it doesn't matter the color of your skin, your orientation, your religion. Anyone can fall victim to this in this system. And we're going to look at some of the comments. Stay with me. For how much we all work and how little we get to appreciate being home. This could be a good alternative if you have a shower and laundry situation. Figure it out. And 9 people liked the comment. Okay, the next one. I'm going to tell you like this, people. If we ever go in the World 3, meaning World War 3, we're going to have a hard time recruiting. There's nothing to fight for. Now I disagree because if it comes down to it, I'm fighting for justice. I'm fighting for peace. A short story. A side tidbit. I have a. Let me stop sharing right quick. I have a friend who I met who was in the military, and my friend told me that the next grandiose war would be a war for peace. That people would be fighting for peace. Think about that, you guys. Whew. So that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. And so, what are the solutions to these types of problems? Okay. First, the solutions has to be eliminating injustice everywhere. And I know that that's a tall task. I know that it seems like an idealist that a person would say, we're going to eliminate injustice everywhere. But that's really the truth. Because as long as it's a system to where some people are treated well and then other people are, the cycle of what we're doing is going to continue. And if you research history, not to get too deep, not to get too deep, but if you research history, you will see that this has been the cycle throughout the centuries and the decades. We have some people at the top, people at the bottom. Then some people at the bottom figure out how to overthrow the people at the top. Then it's a new class of people at the bottom, a few people at the top. And then the injustice isn't replaced. The only thing that changes who the ruling class is. Ask yourself this question. How can we replace a system of injustice with a system of justice? Is it possible for us to create a society where no one is mistreated? Is it possible for us to create a society where no one is mistreated? Okay, I'm going to share my screen again, and we are going to look at some of the world news. Okay, is it sharing? 1 second. Okay, so right now they're talking about what's going on in the Middle East. It says Israel and Iran trade strikes as Trump says he wants real end to conflict. The subtitle, and this is the BBC, you guys, it says traffic jams line the roads out of Tehran, which is in Israel, as Iranians flee the city while Iran and Israel have been exchanging more missiles. Guys, do you know how far Israel and Iran is from each other? Let me show you something. Israel to Iran distance. So I live in a country where we use miles. This is 1,434 miles difference from Iran to Israel. Now let's look at um how you spell it, Tehran and Jerusalem distance. Let's be a little bit more specific. So it is 1,150 miles between Tehran, Israel, and Jerusalem. 21 hours and 27 minutes. Now, where my truckers at? Where my bus drivers at? My Greyhounders? Where my travelers are? Okay? Guys, that's not very far. That means a person, if you have two people willing to trade driving shifts, or you have one person, they can get from point A to point B in about 2, 3 days. If it's two people, you can get there really in a day. Okay. Now, I drove trucks, guys, across the United States. So let me show you how close this is relatively. Okay. Let's say um Los Angeles to Houston, Texas. Distance. Los Angeles to Houston, Texas is farther away than Jerusalem, Israel to Tehran, Iran. Okay, guys? So let's go back to the world news. So I just had to give you some perspective. We're not talking about a place that's far away from one another. So when people are talking about nuclear bombs, atomic bombs, and we're going to bomb them, guys, this is why I said we have to have peace. Can you see why we need peace? Can you understand why a war between these nations wouldn't be ideal? They're too close together. They're Los Angeles to Houston, Texas is farther away than Jerusalem, Israel to Tehran, Iran. Okay. They're talking about how many people have been hurt in Gaza. They're talking about Russia Delia's attack on Kyiv for months kills how many people, unalives how many people, excuse me. I don't want my stream to be demonetized or anything like that. They're talking about the protesters in Spain. Okay? The world is in chaos, guys. Wake up. Don't you see this? I don't want to get too deep. I don't want to get too deep. But come on now, y'all don't see what's going on in the world. People around the world are all unhappy, stressed, complaining, and we are upset with one another. So let's read this topic. It says, as protesters marched through central Barcelona on Sunday, they shouted at the tourists who were filming them to go home. Tourism is hugely important to Spain, and Barcelona is a top destination for visitors, but the crowds are growing so fast that many locals complain they're being squeezed out of their own cities. Now, why is this happening? We're going to get to that in a minute. Why this is happening. Let me go back to TikTok. What's going on is that a lot of Americans, so we have in human geography what's called push and pull factors. In human geography, we have what's called push and pull factors. So push and pull factors are good and bad things. Like, okay, one city may have, like, let's say San Diego. San Diego generally has better weather than New York City. Okay, no bad winters, things of that nature. So somebody might say, hey, I was pulled to go to this area. Now let's say push factors. Push factors is like, okay, it's a lot of crime in this other city, and I want to move to a safer city. So I was pushed out of my home city to a new city. Okay, that's push and pull factors, pros and cons. Okay, Americans are feeling as though that they are being pushed out of the United States.
So I just found out that 30% of Americans are not paying their bills. Yeah, you heard that right. 30% of Americans are not paying their bills. Now, if we look at the entire US population, we'll round it up to 350 million. Let's say 350 million. Now, anywhere between 50 and 100 million of those people are not paying bills. They're not old enough to have expenses or be responsible for those expenses. So let's just wipe out, let's say, 50 million to make it easy. So 350 down to 300 million. That means if 30% of Americans are not paying their bills, that is a little under 100 million people have just said, nah, I'm good. I'm okay. Not paying my rent. Landlord, kick rocks. Fuck off. Car, nah, who cares? Let the dealer eat that one. Who gives a fuck? Nah, it's my car. You're gonna have to take it out of my cold, dead hands, is what they're saying.
So I'm trying to paint a picture of the bigger problem. I'm trying to paint a picture so that the bigger the bigger picture can be looked at. A lot of times, guys, we're in a situation where we are upset with one another. We are angry with one another. We're blaming one another. We're not in a good place where we could think. Okay. We have to overcome our immediate feelings of being disgruntled or being upset with one another to reach a place where we can think clearly. Okay. And you have people that's waking up each day in this world ready to give up. You have people that's waking up each day in this world and they are upset. So I'm gonna get back to the Spain tourism in a minute. And if you're just coming into the stream, hit a like, drop a comment, and I would appreciate it. But we're going to keep the ball rolling. I'm gonna go until about 10 a.m. and then we're going to end the live stream because this has to be said. This morning meditation is important. I'm not telling you this to bring you down. I'm telling you this so that we can have a purpose. We'll have a target that we need to hit. You need to understand what's going on, and you need to be able to put a target up so that you can go after the goal that's in front of you. You need to have a target. You need to know what you're trying to hit. You can't just be every which way with it, everywhere, going this way, going that way. Guys, I spent a lot of time like that. You could spend years like that, aimlessly, wandering, not knowing what your purpose is. But if you focus on some problems, if you really just look at the world from a bird's eye view and you see these problems, you're going to find your purpose because is really only a few things that you really should be focused on if we're being real. So let's look at what they're saying.
In today's economy, do you think a couple that brings home 100,000 is enough to support a small family of like 3 to 4 people? I asked this because I made a post yesterday about how Americans are really struggling, and it was really sad and eye-opening to me to see the amount of people who said, I make 6 figures now, yet we're still struggling. And I don't mean is it enough to buy like luxuries. I just mean is $100,000 enough to live comfortably without having to live paycheck to paycheck. I remember like 12 years ago, my mom told me about this couple I knew who were making like a combined salary of 110,000. And at that point in my life, 20s, I'm thinking, what a dream, what a goal it was for me to be able to say one day that my husband and I were making like 110,000. And now here I am in 2023, and I'm like, it's it's not the dream life anymore. Like if someone would have told me my husband and I would be making what we're making and still having to cut back on necessities, I would have been like, you have to be kidding me. Like we didn't even go on a vacation this year because the last thing I'm going to do is put a vacation on a credit card, but we didn't have extra.
The United States has become extremely unsustainable. It's time that we have this conversation. I know that we're not all out here surviving and thriving.
Do you know how hard it is for us everyday Americans to wake up and live our normal lives and continue to go on about our days as if everything's fine? It's so hard right now for us to not give up, for us to just, be like, forget it, like none of this matters. Like, why am I continuing to get up and go to my average dilly-dally job when everything's about to come crashing down? Like, what's the point? I feel like, honestly, so many of us are just like, what's the point of this anymore? We are struggling right now. The American people, especially if you're in the lower middle class, we're struggling, okay? We're struggling to keep it going day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute. And when we're at our job, maybe we can pretend that everything's fine. Then we get home and we look on the news and we look on social media and we realize everything's not fine. And so it's a matter of the fact of like, what do we do about it? We can't just give up and stop doing what we're doing. But it's like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. So what are we gonna do differently? What can we do differently? Do you know how hard it is for us? Everyday Americans to wake up and live our normal lives and continue to go on about our days as if everything's fine. It's so hard right now for us to not give up, for us to just, be like, forget it. Like, none of this matters. Like, why am I continuing to get up and go to my average dilly-dally job when everything's about to come crashing down? Like, what's the point? I feel like, honestly, so many of us are just like, what's the point of this anymore? We are struggling right now. The American people.
I'm an American that lives abroad, and I'm here to tell you that you can do it too. I left the States about 2.5 years ago, and I used to live in Japan, in Tokyo, and now I live in Shanghai, in China. And the quality of my life has skyrocketed. My professional opportunities, my income, my mental health, my physical health, and the way that I move through the world has completely changed in so many better ways since I left America. America's in a really tough spot right now, as we know, and it's not looking good. As a lot of people are starting to research and learn more and travel more, they're starting to realize the way that people live in other countries. In Japan, in China, in a lot of places in Asia, in Europe, in South America. There are hundreds of millions of people living better lives than you currently are in America, and it's really hard to hear that, but it's true. And I am somebody that has actually made the jump and gone to another place, got rid of all my stuff in America, decided that I probably aren't going back, and it was the best decision I ever made. So you may think that it's difficult and impossible. It is not. Anything that is worth it is challenging, but this can be the most consequential decision that you ever make in your life. And so many people all over the world have left America and have built beautiful
If you, like me, are a born and raised American who doesn't want to live here anymore, then this series is for you. I'm teaching you how to get the heck out of here. Let's talk about your belongings. How do you move things that you've collected over your lifetime overseas? I'm just going to come right out and say it that the most economical option for moving most of your things is to not do it at all. Whatever country you're going to has furniture stores, antique stores. You can start recollecting once you get abroad, but shipping internationally is not cheap. Unless your furniture is unique, expensive, and one of a kind, you probably don't want to move it, and here's why. It's not just the cost of moving things that can be prohibitive. There are also import taxes to consider, which a lot of countries have an exception if you're just moving to the country where you have a temporary time limit will allow you to move things into the country with no import.
I'm sorry, guys. The stream literally blacked out. Like, I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know if it was too much truth being spoken. I kid you not, guys. I'm streaming. Everything goes black. The screen goes black. I couldn't hear anything. I'm like, what's going on? So let me wrap this up because whoa, that was freaky, guys. Honestly, um, and so what we're going to do. We're going to play a little music to end our stream. Um, a lot of people don't want this message out. A lot of people don't want this message out. Like I'm streaming just now, everything goes black. The screen goes black. We were 50 minutes in. So that's telling me that I'm doing a good job because I was on the stream sharing valid information and then everything just cut off. Like literally, I come back onto the program and everything is still set up. What? Ooh, somebody didn't like that message I was getting out there. Huh? So I like to thank everybody. The purpose of this broadcast was to start the morning off right. Okay. If you don't have a target, if you don't know what the problem is, you won't know what you need to do to solve it. Oftentimes in life, guys, we have to address the problems that exist in order to overcome it. And I believe that what's going on right now is a larger issue. Um, today I talked about cast. I talked about how a lot of people are wanting to move overseas, and I talked about how while a lot of people want to move overseas, a lot of people internationally in the countries that the Americans are immigrating to are upset. Okay, I shared this right here talking about how people in Spain are saying that tourism is destroying Barcelona. As protesters marched through central Barcelona on Sunday, they shouted at the tourists who were filming them to go home. See, this is what a lot of people don't understand. I talked about economics, how a lot of Americans are struggling to pay for basic necessities, and as a result of struggling to pay for basic necessities, um, a lot of Americans are thinking that moving internationally is going to save their country. It's going to save themselves, right? Self-preservation, and as a result, what happens is displacement. When like this guy, he's talking about moving to Spain. And he doesn't even know that the people in Spain are protesting people moving there.
Why?
This is what I'm talking about.
Because this is a Tuesday afternoon. I went to work at 10 a.m. I got out at 1 p.m. And now I'm just here relaxing in a park. This
Now, that's the thing. People are going to continue to leave the United States because the cost of living in the United States is really getting people to consider leaving. And the things that our parents enjoyed, a lot of Americans are not going to be able to enjoy the things that our parents enjoyed. I personally, when I hear older people talk about things like, "Hey, buy a house," "Hey, uh, you know, work a job and hang on, hang." It was hard for us too. Listen, y'all don't even understand that while we do have technological advances, we also have technology that's preventing us from having a normal life. You know what I mean? Like we're bombarded with a lot of obstacles. And I believe that we're going to get through it. But a lot of young people are struggling because they're working these jobs and they realize that people that's streaming are making more money than people that's hard working.
I am seriously starting to feel like it's just about impossible to live in the United States. And I don't want to seem like a lazy bum when I seen this, but I truly feel like it's just about impossible. If you weren't raised and given a good first hand in life, or a support team who will make sure no matter what that you don't fail, or having people that you're able to fall back on, you're blessed. And if you are one of those people, I highly suggest you thank those people near you, because a lot of us aren't blessed like that.
Okay, guys. Somebody comments. Let's go to the comments. They say, made 1,100 last week. I have like 100 left when I balance the account. All went to bills. I sleep in the car. Someone else says, you have figured it out. You were lied to your whole life. Blank country isn't great, nor has it ever been. They just can't keep the lie going any longer. I'm 39, so yeah, get your money together and leave. Another person. It's absolutely depressing and outrageous how the rich can feel comfortable sleeping in their mansions and not worry about what they'll eat tomorrow, while the poor gotta find ways on how to survive. Guys, what's the solution? Okay, okay. We're going to breathe. We're going to breathe. I think ultimately what the solution is we have to find a way to end this class struggle. Okay.
The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know this, but then they'll still look at somebody else that's struggling and then tell them they're not doing good enough. I want you to imagine somebody that makes $75,000 a year. That's a pretty high up wage in terms of like top earners in this country. $75,000 a year. And we're going to go through some things here. This is a person with no debt outside of a car. And please don't hit me with the you can go buy a car for. Shut up. You can't. Shut up. Stop saying ridiculous things. An entry level decent car is $30,000. So this person who puts $200 a month into insurance and they pay 5% into their 401k, because shut up, people should be able to put money into their retirement. Because if you're not doing it now, you're never going to get to start doing it later. So after those two things come out of their paycheck and their taxes are paid, they bring home $53,850 a year from a $75,000 paycheck. Average rent in my state for a one-bedroom apartment, because an adult should be able to live by themselves, $1,700. That car payment at 6% for an entry level, very reasonable sedan, nothing fancy. That car payment's $579 a month. Car insurance, $240 or so a month for a lot of vehicles in this day and age. You're a young person, you've got a nice job, but the insurance companies will want to screw you over. You only cook at home. You never, ever go out. You only quality food, because a human being should be allowed to eat decent quality food. You pay $79 a month for that. You spend $250 a month. Wear and tear on your car, $100 a month. $80 for your phone, $80 for your internet, $175 a month for your electricity, $70 for your water, $20 for your cash. You make 75 grand a year, and outside of a car payment, you have zero debt. Do you know how much money you have left over annually at a $75,000 wage? You do nothing. You don't own a Netflix. You don't go out on a date. You don't pay to go to a park. You don't go watch a movie. You do nothing. If you can't find it on the internet for free, you don't get to do it. If you can't cook it at home for your 800, you have $3,700 left over annually. That's like $320 a month. And there's going to be those 300. Shut up.
That's exactly. I'm sorry, he was cooking, meaning like when the young people say, "Oh, that person's cooking," it's like that they're doing a great job at articulating the problem, or they are doing a great job at completing the task. Like that's what we mean when we say, "Man, that's cooking." You know, okay, he roasted that charcoal grilled that topic, man. Now, let's imagine a person is, okay, it really doesn't matter your age, because if you're old, or you're aging, health problems, or you're older but you're healthy, but you have more responsibility, that's still a lot of money to have to keep up in order to play the game. If you're young, it can seem almost impossible to make that kind of money per year as one person or even as a couple. I remember when I was in college and I was in a relationship and we filed our taxes together, guys. We were so broke. At the end of the year, we had $40,000 together. And at the time, we had a cheap apartment, a cheap car, and things was hard back then. But I would say it's even harder now. That was 2015, 2016. Now we're in 2025. Hey, it's realer now. I like to see two people try to survive off $40,000 to get now. They'll be, man, it's harder now. Okay? And when people victim blame, when people victim blame, it doesn't make sense. So somebody says 75K is paycheck to paycheck now. Now a person would say, well, why is that? Okay, you have the average rent in the United States is okay 75,000 a year. Now let's say we're gonna do two. Let's say that's after taxes. So if this is a normal W two employee and they make $75,000 after taxes, that means they made about 95 $100,000 before taxes. After the government takes about 22,000 which is about $1,600 per month paid in taxes. Okay, they're left with around $6,000 per month or $5,500 per month. So let's say once you start equating, you have your bills on average, most people's bills are going to total around $3,500 per year, which that totals out around close to about $40,000 per year. Okay, so let's say you X out all of your bills, then you have around 25, 20, $30,000 left annually to live the rest of your life with. Do you see why a lot of people are struggling? Let me let the chef finish cooking.
Shut your stupid, contrarian, edgelord mouth. That's not a doctor bill because God knows just because we have insurance doesn't mean that we don't still pay far out the ass when we go to the doctors. People like to be entertained. They want to date. They want to. There's those of you out there that will tell somebody living like this on $75,000 a year before taxes that they are not doing what they're supposed to do. That they should get a second job. That they should get a side hustle. That they should get a better job. And the fact that you would look at somebody with no debt other than a car and say something like this to them means objectively you're a moron and you live in a fantasy world. This is unsustainable. The cost of living in this country is currently, it's not going to be, it is currently unsustainable. And there are people that they know.
People are struggling, and whenever the victims are talking about how they're struggling, all the young people here, all the young people here is that it's our fault. It's your fault. You're not smart enough. You're not strong enough. You should have worked harder, work more hours. You get another trade, get another degree, go into tech. We just blame the victims. And what I think about with the older people is like, okay, let's say you have somebody that's um the average college graduate is about 21, 22 years old. How can you blame somebody who 10 years ago they were 10 years old, 11 years old? How are they going to have the world figured out of what they should do when a decade ago They wasn't even old enough to vote or do anything. Come on, man. Where's the logic in that?
60% of Americans don't earn enough to afford basic costs of living. This is America. And stop calling it the.
So 60%. So that means 6 out of 10 people are struggling. If we just do a per capita, right? People love using that terminology, per capita. 6 out of 10.
Just gonna make it real simple. This is
I hate when there's music in the background because sometimes YouTube give copy strikes.
Hi guys, I'm really stressed today. I just went to the grocery store, bought 10 items, and it was 80 freaking dollars already. I literally have $10 left in my account. The fuck? So, a little backstory. I got laid off from my job a month ago, and I've been applying for jobs months before I got laid off. Sent out hundreds of resumes already. Applied to hundreds of jobs on the internet, remote and on site. Tailored my resume to every position that I applied using ChatGPT. Went to only a few interviews and still nothing. Like, what the fuck is going on with America right now? Like, it's so freaking hard to live here. Like, I'm gonna stay positive. I'm gonna keep applying for jobs. I'm gonna keep showing up. But man, my bills are not going to wait. Hi guys, I'm really stressed today. I just went to the grocery store.
Man, $10 left in your bank account. After, man, listen. Whoo, man. But here's the thing. Let social media tell it. I'm glad people are finally coming out and just telling the truth. You would think that people in America are just doing well. And people are just doing well. It's all a lie, man. People are struggling. 6 out of 10 people. Next time you go to your local grocery store, um, whether it's a Walmart or it's a Whole Foods market or it's a HEB or whatever it is in your state or city, I want you to become an observer. I want you to observe the shopping carts and see how many people have basically just a few items in their shopping cart. Now, growing up, I'm 30 years old. So growing up, I remember when people went to the grocery store, they left with their basket or cart overflowing with water, drinks, food for the month, this and that. Go to the local grocery. In fact, go today. Go tomorrow. Um, go this weekend, this Saturday. Just look. Just go there and look. I guarantee you're going to see couples of all ethnicities, all races, all it's not a race thing. And you're going to see people literally, I'm gonna tell you what they may have probably 3 or 4 things in their shopping carts. Pay attention. See, I like to observe people. I like to observe. I like to study. And if you go to a local grocery store, you will see
So I just want to
people
dive
don't
a
have
little
money like
deeper
that.
into my last post about minimum wage in New Jersey being $14.12 an hour. At a 40-hour work week, that's $564.80 before taxes. But we're just going to pretend taxes don't exist, right? So that would be 2020 or $2,259.20 a month in income. Now, I'm going to switch screens and show you a little math that I did. So this is just like a basic household bills. So rent, gas for your home, electric, groceries, phone bill, car insurance, water bill. I'm not including a car payment or anything like that, or health insurance, which is also a bill. So this is just basic because it's all pretty low balling since, I don't think $200 in groceries is going to get you far when a dozen eggs is $7. Anyway, that brings the total out to $1,875 a month in bills. Basic bills. With an income of $2,259.20, that leaves you with about $384.20 a month. Now, take out taxes, we'll say about $100 a week, because I think that's pretty fair. That leaves you with a negative amount. So hold on, let me just do the math on that. So $384.20 divided by 4. Hold, please. So if you say that remaining balance is taxes, that would average out to about $96.05 per week for taxes, which literally leaves you with nothing. Nothing. So explain to me.
And minimum wage in the South is basically 7.25. You could go like this person said Georgia. This other person says our minimum wage is still 7.25. They got people that's making $10 an hour out here, guys. And
How anyone.
and I know people are going to victim blame. I know people are going to say stuff like, "Oh, you guys should just work harder. You're not working hard enough." And so, I'm about to end my broadcast, but what I would like to say is that this is the environment and the time that we're living in. And if we don't have people that's willing to talk about this, then you won't have an advocate. See, I'm one of the ones that's willing to put my face on the screen and talk about this. And I know this is I'm not the only one, so respect to everyone. But all of us should be voicing this stuff as loud as possible because when you wake up in the morning while you were sleeping, let me drop some game on you. While you were sleeping, they were planning on how to keep you from winning. While you were sleeping, people were planning to make sure that you don't succeed. So when you wake up every day, you better wake up with a purpose. And the purpose is you better be trying to produce some justice, okay? The problem is the jobs are not paying enough, but they never were supposed to. The problem is the college degrees and the trades are being underpaid. And what they do is it's a few people that's going to get those things and they're going to do really well. Not the majority. It's not the average. It's not the average. Now, I think it is a multifaceted issue. It's an issue that is very complex, you know. But I would say that the solution is not just all of us come together. No, the solution is we have to come together with a purpose. When you wake up in the morning, wake up with knowing your purpose. When you go to bed, follow your purpose. Because check this, it's impossible for one person to correct all of these things by themselves. They're going to need help. And the problem is we have so many people right now that's giving up or have given up. So don't you be one of those people. Don't you give up. So that's been my live stream today. Good morning. I want you guys to go out there and be great, have a good purpose. And like I always tell my son Jaha, listen, if somebody tells you something that's mean or something that you don't like, don't internalize it. Okay. I have people that come on my stream that say that tell me mean things on my long form videos, on my shorts. I don't really trip on that stuff, guys. You can tell me stuff that try to hurt my feelings. How I look at it, guys, is if it don't apply, let it fly, right? And okay, let's say it is true. I'm gonna just step my game up. I'm not gonna let what someone else say dictate how I feel. When someone can tell you something and it hurts your feelings, then they now have control over you. You can't allow others to control you, guys. You gotta have a strong mind.